Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to our board meeting tonight. Thank you so much, uh, Miss Amber White, for your hospitality this evening and hosting us. She thought I was going to call on her. We appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for coming out in support of our scholars and our community. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Shay, may we have a roll call to establish a quorum? Here. Present. Present. Present.
Present.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to announce that Board Member Wanda Lane is excused from tonight's meeting. Ms. Morrill, would you be so kind as to present our norms?
Yes, I will. Thank you all. Okay, these are the Board of Education norms for Riverview Gardens. Number one, under cohesive team, we will pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. We will consider all opinions. We will assume positive intentions. Under item 2, collective agreement, collective voices to reach decisions, respect the work of the board, honoring and supporting the board decisions at all times. Under number 3, be prepared for meeting. The board will review the packet and submit questions within the established time frame. Members of the board will arrive 5 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Administration will send board packets to the Board of Education within the identified time frame. Under item number 4, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. The first is the Board of Education decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, not individuals' opinions or requests. And educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocol for voicing concerns. And that's policy KC, community engagement. Those are our board norms.
Thank you, Ms. Morrill. At this time, may I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, I so move.
It has been moved by Ms. Morrill to approve tonight's agenda. May I get a second? And it has been seconded by Ms. Monica Williams.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda, I guess under items for action, to place on the next agenda item the approval of the hiring freeze. Because there's no policy on
Okay.
hiring, so I don't think we have to. She don't think we have to.
And you wanted that the next meeting
Yeah.
agenda? Okay, so we don't have to approve that.
So
It's,
we can just
just-
find out for sure.
yeah.
So we'll just find out for sure.
Okay, well, thank you so
Okay,
much.
that's what she said.
I also need to, I'm not sure if it's under discussion, I need to remove item G, which is the board professional development.
Okay, I need to know where you're looking.
I'm under items for discussion.
Okay.
Table item G, revised district professional
want to remove this?
Okay. And we'll do that when we come to it, right? Correct? I can't hear.
Remove it from the agenda now. I would like to make a motion to remove item G as requested by the superintendent.
Can I get a second? It's been motion, I'm sorry. It's been motion to remove item G from the items for discussion. And it's been seconded by Ms. Monica Williams. Motion by Dr. May and second by Ms. Monica Williams to remove item G from the items for discussion. Thank you. Now, all in favor of approving the, are we in favor of the agenda or the motion you just made? Oh, all in favor to remove item G?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now, may I have, and is all in favor to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Madam Chair, I'll second.
It's been moved by Dr. May and second by Ms. Morrill to approve the amended agenda to remove, which removes item G. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. At this time, we're going to call for Mr. Ishmael Sunstrick for our Riverview Excellence.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, and community. Tonight, of course, we're at Moline Elementary, and so I am going to pass the baton over to the esteemed Principal Amber White, and she is going to present Riverview Excellence this evening. Ms. White?
You can clap, Dr. Coleman. That's fine. I like clapping. I like it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you. I actually asked Ishmael, I know he often does some talking, but I asked if I could speak about the people that are here with us tonight, and I love surprises. So most of the people that are here actually don't know that they know they're here, but they don't necessarily know why. So Taraji, our first person that's going to be celebrated, thinks she's here for a meeting about middle school next year. So Taraji, will you come up here? See, she's ready for middle school. I have been blessed with this young lady for 6 years here, and the amount of improvement that she has made in this last school year is the reason why we do what we do. A 20% increase in her attendance this year, 20%.
Wow.
And she doesn't come alone. She came to this alone, but she has 3 little sisters at home, and their attendance has increased also. And when you have a big sister at home that's really working hard to come to school, the little ones follow. And we always talk about changing your color at Moline. So if you're red or below basic, we want to change to yellow, basic, blue, proficient. And this young lady is doing that this year. She is engaged, she is participating, she is a leader in her classroom. So I am very blessed to celebrate Taraji Hennings, our 5th grader at Moline Elementary. Yeah, see, you're at Moline, so we're going to do things that Miss Whiteway here. We're going to do the picture all at one time, so you guys don't have to keep getting up, okay? Next, could I have, see, they think that they're here to celebrate their son, but actually, could I have, the whole family might as well stand up and come up, but actually the parents of Sincere Finger Barnes are the parent that I'd like to celebrate tonight. So would you guys get up and come up? They brought the whole squad out, the whole squad. Miss Tiffany Barnes and Mr. Wayne Rogers, I think they enrolled Sincere, a week or two late for kindergarten last year? What was it, a week or two? And these people brought their child to Moline, and they tried to drop him, or tried to bring him to school, and they said, well, we want to meet the teacher. I said, sir, school has started. The teacher is teaching. You cannot. He said, well, I'm not leaving my child. Remember this, right? I'm not leaving my child here until I know who they're going to be with all day. And I said, wait a second. We do this all day, every day. Your kid is fine. No, I'm not leaving them. Yep. Day later, we met the teacher. And we have spent the last 2 years, I would say, building a relationship of trust. And the vocabulary of this young man, his energy and effort, I said to him last year, I need the attendance to improve. I need him here 90% of the time. I think we're at 94% this year because of these parents. So because of these parents. So tonight I want to celebrate Mr. Wayne Rogers and Miss Tiffany Barnes for their involvement at school.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the last people that I want to celebrate are dressed in matching clothes. They think that they are here to, for a board presentation from me, but that is my. Hold on, my other student got here. I didn't know if he was going to make it. Mr. DeAndre Diamond. After you take that hood off your head, can you come up to the microphone? Last year, DeAndre joined our school. And if I would have asked DeAndre Diamond to take his hood off at school, it would have been an office referral. We would have tussled, we would have wrestled, I would have had to call Granny to come up. We've only had him less than a year, I think, less than a year. And I'm gonna say this, he spent a lot of time with me, yes? In the office last year, we got to know each other very well. On the third day of school, DeAndre ended up in the office, and I say, here we go again. We gonna do it again? We're gonna do it all year. And from that day forward, he said, I'm not gonna do that. I wanna be a different young man, and he has become such a leader in this building. And the only time he's in the office is if he's delivering a lunch to somebody else in the office because he is working that hard. So I wanna celebrate tonight the improvement of this young man right here.
Congratulations.
And now there's 8 people in matching shirts who think they are here to listen to me present. But would my guiding coalition please come up here because they are my staff recognition. Come on up. Yeah, when I said, well, actually I have to talk twice tonight, so after the second one you can leave, they were like, what? Up until this meeting started, they were sitting in a meeting with me. This team of people, you guys give me a lot of credit for things that we do at Moline, and the growth of me as a leader is because of these people. It is not always pretty. In fact, you probably didn't hear that that just happened. I know you didn't, because they would not do that at a board meeting. It's not always pretty, but that's how you make change. That's how you make growth, is by being challenged, by pushing each other. These guys work harder than anybody in this building, and they are learning to recognize their influence and help build mine. I would not be who I am, and this building would not be. All these awards are great, but the awards are not Amber White. When I tell you it's a team, these are the people leading the team. So I want to thank them tonight as my staff recognition. And now we have to take pictures.
Okay. I don't want you to. We don't want that.
So Miss White loves surprises, and so I got a kick out of as she was bragging about her surprise to her staff. But little did she know, we had another award. This is for your team, so you mean mug me, it's not just for Amber White. But I do want to announce, so Moline Elementary also received the Prime Center Growth Award from the Prime Center at St. Louis University. And this is because they rank number 6 in math improvement in the entire state of Missouri. So I want to present this to Ms. White and the team because that's a wonderful acknowledgement. Let me get one more with you holding your plaque, Ms. White. Yep, the students, come on, Ms. Taraji. And that concludes Riverview Excellence.
Wow, congratulations, everyone. And thank each of you for your hard work, for your contribution. Families, we appreciate you. Teachers and principals, we appreciate you because we know that it takes a village to raise a child. And our village here in Riverview Gardens is strong. I appreciate all of you. At this time, Shay, is there any public comment? Thank you. Board members, are there any remarks? Any board members have announcements?
Yes, Madam Chair. I wanted to just,
Mike.
thank you.
Turn your mic on.
I wanted to acknowledge the fact that,
It might not be on, Ms. Morrell.
you
There
guys
you
hear
go.
me now?
Yes, there was.
I wanted to just make the public aware that the special school district has an election. It's usually in March. The person that originally represented Riverview Gardens and some other school districts decided that he could not run this year. And I was surprised when I spoke with the superintendent that no one has signed up to represent Riverview Gardens and the other districts that make up Region 4. So I just wanted to let you all know that there is a vacancy open. You can contact me, and I can give you information. You can contact me through Shay Fields, leave a email or what have you with her if you have an interest in representing Riverview Gardens. Riverview would not be the only school that you would be representing, but I was just surprised that we didn't get anyone to sign up. So thank you.
Thank you. At this time, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved by Dr. May to approve the consent agenda. May I get a second? It's been seconded by Ms. Williams. Are there any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. All right. At this time, I see that our student representatives are not present this evening, so we will move into the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. Congratulations to Moline. Can we give them another round of applause? I want to also acknowledge all of our administrators that are here that are working equally hard. Will all of our building principals please stand? Give them a round of applause because they are here, they are supportive, and they are working hard. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for jumping on that meeting with me at the last minute this morning. So with some of my announcements, I just want to make everyone aware that there was a possibility. You all woke up this morning and you heard that the federal programs were being frozen. Initially, it was all of them, and so Riverview Gardens would have lost 17% of its budget. Luckily, this afternoon, they rescinded that motion. A judge blocked it, they rescinded it, and so they temporarily rescinded it. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that that would have meant about $14 million for our district that we would not be getting, and it would have affected every building. And so luckily, it was blocked. It's been rescinded, but it may come back. So we just have to be prepared for that. Understand that we are a completely free and reduced lunch school district. That means we would not be able to feed our babies. The Michelle Obama Early Childhood Center would be effective. We have some of our employees that are federally paid. So luckily, it was rescinded. We just have to keep our fingers crossed that it remains rescinded, because that would drastically affect our school district. So I think they started getting phone calls. Maybe they didn't understand the impact that would have. Babies would not have food to eat, and so they've rescinded it. So just be aware of that, be thoughtful of that, and just know that Riverview Gardens will make sure that these babies are fed and taken care of, okay? So I did want you all to know that. Moving on, I do want to mention that we have community meetings. We've had several community meetings. We've done everything we can to get our public there except spin around on our head. Our first meeting, I think we had 2 parents and staff members. Our second meeting, I think we had 3 or 4 parents and staff members. Our staff members are showing up, so hats off to you. Thank you for coming out and being supportive. Families, we need you there. We want your voice heard. I want it to be very clear. This board has not voted to close any Riverview Gardens school. I know that was in the news, but that was reported incorrectly. They have not voted to close any school within Riverview Gardens. Please come out to the community meeting so that you have accurate information. We had a demographic study completed. We are making adjustments because of the demographic study, and we're looking at a lot of possibilities. But we also want our parents and our families and our employees' voices heard, so we sent out surveys. Please complete those surveys. The last thing I want to happen is for an action to be taken, and then we have our community saying, well, we didn't know about it. Please come out. Our next one will be February the 3rd. It's at 4 o'clock. It's at Danforth Elementary School. It will be Facebook Live. That's where our families seem to show up, on Facebook, so that's where we're going to go. It will be Facebook Live. It will be at Danforth. We want your voices heard. We want your opinion in the room. The next one will be, hold on, February, I don't know why I took these out, February 18th at Glasgow Elementary School. One is February 3rd at Danforth. The next one is February 18th at Glasgow. Both will be Facebook Live. We want our parents' opinions. We want your thoughts. We want you to be heard. So please, please come out, have your opinion heard. We've sent surveys. Please complete your survey. And again, I want to reiterate, no decision has been made in terms of school closure for Riverview Gardens. Parents, please come out. Please, please, please. We want your voices heard. Finally, we have our spelling bee. It will be this Thursday, January the 30th at LeMaster's. It's being held at LeMaster's. Mr. Brown, why is it being held at LeMaster's? Because LeMaster's won last year, and so I know these schools are ready to take that trophy back. And so I believe that Amber has had her students here drilling them on the words. I know Ms. Dorita has done it. So they're coming for you, Mr. Brown. They want that trophy. Have you prepared your student? Oh, you said bring it on. Okay. So we have our spelling bee Thursday at LeMaster's at 9 o'clock. We want our parents to come out and support that and support these babies who are working hard and want that trophy as well. So congratulations to Mr. Brown. We'll see if he hangs on to it. Again, it is this Thursday at LeMaster's at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, that's what I'm told. Okay, so it's 10. All right, LeMaster's at 10 o'clock this Thursday. Thank you so much. From there, we are going to go into items for information. Our first item up for information is the data presentation for Moline Elementary. Making this presentation is Ms. Barbara Sharp, the Executive Director of Continuous Improvement, and Ms. Amber White, the Principal of Moline Elementary. This presentation is in conjunction with Policy IA, Instructional Goals and Priorities, and IGAB, Instructional Intervention. Ms. Sharp.
Good evening. To the Riverview Gardens Board of Education, colleagues, scholars, and members of the community. Tonight, the principal from Moline Elementary School will provide a school-based data presentation which will focus on a series of different topics to include the average daily attendance, requirements from DESE, as well as math performance, and an area, specialized focus area from the school. This we call an area, focus of pride. At the completion of her presentation, Principal White will entertain any questions that you may have. Please receive her at this time.
This works? Y'all sure? Hi, guys. Last time I was here, I got to talk about the Chiefs. Now, there's not much to say. Give it 2 weeks, and I'll have something else to say. But, all right, this is the same format as the colleagues who have gone before me. So as Ms. Sharp said, we're going to talk attendance. This is so uncomfortable.
I think you turned it off.
Okay. All right, we're going to talk attendance, math performance, look at some map data for a particular cohort, and then some very brief celebrations since we already did so today. So what you see before you and probably have in front of you on your computer as well. On the left side is last school year, both the ADA by month, so that's what percentage of our kids are just here, right, on a given day. And then on the right side of that same graph is our 90-90. So what percentage of students in the month are present at school 90% of the time. And then on the far right side, you see us with a running total for the school year, for this school year, same thing, ADA on the left, 90-90 on the right. I love a good color-coded graph. Waiting for the chuckles in the back. But any graph or any spot that you see shaded in green means we are exceeding what our numbers were last year. So you can see in August we were about the same, but September, October, November, December, we are exceeding what our attendance numbers were last year. I'm really thankful that this happened in January, so I did not have to put the attendance data for January on there because it has been abysmal when the temperatures are cold. Feels like there's no school, but we're here and we're ready for teaching and learning. So we are definitely making strides in attendance. It certainly helps when some of our students who had attendance challenges are working on those. Math performance, I'm excited. This is the thing we're talking about. Obviously, the celebration on Friday of being the 6th highest growth in the state hits a certain way when you read your name with other schools who serve different populations, as we've talked about in this room before, is definitely a point of pride. What you'll see, again, on the left are our fall percentages, grade levels down the side, cumulative totals across the bottom. BB is below basic, then you have basic, proficient, and advanced. Again, color-coded graph, love it. We've finished our winter round of STAR testing. So any place that you see green means we are increasing in that particular area, and that is something that we're trying to do. So our goal is to increase proficient and advanced students, and we're doing that in several areas. If it's yellow, it means we're decreasing students in that area, which is also a goal. So if we have below basic students, we want those students to decrease. And if it's not color-coded at all, in all honesty, it's a point of concern for us. It means it's not moving, and that's one of the things that this team of people was sitting in a room, 5:15, 6 o'clock at night talking about what are we doing, what more can we do, because it's an area of concern for us. In the building, things that we're doing to sort of adjust to this data, a lot of this is beginning just now in January. Once we've seen the data, what are we going to do? We have implemented some daily morning work. Our kids kind of stream in the morning, anytime between 7:50 and 8:15. Like we talked about in our meeting this afternoon, we don't have time to sit and do nothing. So we've implemented sort of a system for spiraled morning work, and by that I mean teachers are generally teaching in a unit. So we're all learning geometry right now, or we're all working on multiplication, and so sometimes kids need repeated spiral review of some of the other stuff we've worked on throughout the year, or maybe we haven't gotten to it yet, but just a little bit of practice would help. And so that's what our morning work is every day, consistent across the building in 1st through 5th grade. And it's a little test-like format, some multiple choice things, some constructed answer, but the goal is to get them to see things that look similar, for us right now, to look similar to STAR. That MAT prep is coming in classrooms also, but that's happening daily across the building. Grades 3 through 5 are piloting Eureka Math, which was one of the math adoption options that our district looked at when we looked at the textbook adoption in December, to kind of help deepen the thinking and rigor in classrooms. We also have some areas of concern, and we have some intensive support happening in there. We are using instructional coaches, we're using instructional aides. Our SSD team is fabulous and providing intensive support. Solution Tree has been of great support with some of those struggling grade levels. And then I am very proud. When I say they work hard, I mean they work hard. These guys were sitting, I don't know, the Thursday before winter break, with 8 people from Moline sitting at the math textbook adoption until 8 or 8:30 at night, so they could all come see the information and make their voice heard. We really believe here that if we can complain about a lot of things, but if we don't make our voice heard, we're not going to have an impact. And so there were 8 of us sitting at that until 8:30 at night the week before winter break. They could have been anywhere else, but they wanted to be somewhere, giving input. When we look at MAP comparative data, there's lots of numbers on a table, and you can look at those, but a few things to highlight are the circled areas. The green circle at the top represents a decrease in students scoring in below basic. This is the same group of kids who tested in 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. So over 3 years worth of time, as 3rd graders, 52% of them scored below basic in ELA. The next year, 27, and the year after that, about 28%. So that's really almost cutting that number in half of students before they leave us to go to middle school. And then obviously our sort of point of pride and excitement right now is math. You'll notice just below that the decrease in below basic students over those 3 years, from 69% of them to 61, by the time they left here, 51. And then each year, the number of proficient and advanced students has increased across our building. And our goal would be that that happens again this coming school year. So last, some celebrations. Of course, they must be data focused. What else would we celebrate? This graph, I've shared some of these with you before, but this highlights this is early literacy data. We've talked a lot about math, but I wanted to highlight our early literacy data because, man, my K-2 teachers are working really hard to make sure our kids can read. And this is 3 years worth of data, continuous growth for our students over 3 years. up until where we are now. I can't read the graph. I don't even know what the number is. I want to say it's 60-something. You guys can see better than I can. 65.
65.
Okay. We're going to be at 78 by the end of the year, guys. Come on. We got to pick it up a little bit. But what's exciting for us is it keeps going up, that we're not dropping at the beginning of the year and then going up and then dropping and then going up, that we feel like what we're making is sustainable change for our readers. And then last, at the very bottom, we added some celebrations. This is not something that's in their head all the time, but it lives in mine, which is what we're doing for MSIP and how we're helping to get our building closer to earning points. Lord, the calculations, the constantly, how do we get more points? But I am excited to share that our building earned 55 points last year. We went from 43 in 2022. I'm going to call that stayed the same at 41 the year before that. We're not going to say go down. And that we earned 55 points last year, which is 65% of the possible points. So our goal is really to help move the district forward, and the more points that we earn for us, the more it helps the district. So I'm going to skip the part that Ms. Sharp said about questions. In the interest of time, no questions. Thanks. No, really. Do you have any questions?
I have a question. Ms. White, you said that you are piloting the Eureka Math. See, I should have kept my glasses on.
Yes, ma'am.
The Eureka Math program. Are the other schools in the district piloting this program as well?
We, and Glasgow, I believe, Glasgow.
Okay. And is this also the same textbook that you're considering adopting?
It is one of the choices that was presented to the team.
You are doing such an amazing job, and your teachers are a reflection of your leadership. And so all I want to know is, how can you get the word out so that everyone, every school in the district is performing like that?
I want to second what Dr. Patton said, and I mean this. I've been here for 6 years, and I am very thankful to be on a team of leaders that is willing to constantly grow and learn. The conversations that we had last week in our principals meeting, breaking up into teams, the questions that people are asking, what are you doing, what am I doing, sharing ideas. I do believe that what I have seen in 6 years is the culture has become more collaborative, where people are opening doors and wanting to talk to each other. That I'm a competitive person. That's just who I am by nature. But what I know is that our success is the district's success, Glasgow's success, Highland's success, Danforth's success. Everybody's success does nothing but make people better. So if one school struggles, we are all struggling, because that kid is going to go to another school at some point, and somebody's going to have to support. So I'm very thankful to be on a team of administrators who want to learn and get better, because it really is not Amber White. It is a team of people, and the team is not just one school. It's bigger than that. So we got work to do. Somebody said that. We got work to do. And I'm just glad to be a part of it.
I
really
can
am.
sing that song again if you...
No, we don't
no.
sing.
What?
You sing. Hey, you sing, I dance.
Go ahead.
I don't know who to introduce next.
Dr.
But,
May
I
had her
have
hand
a
up.
question. Okay,
And her
so
Chiefs
for
red.
your students, for your students with attendance challenges, are they still doing their work? Like, are they doing something virtually? How do they continue to access educational materials when they're not there to keep them?
You want me to tell you the truth? No. I mean, virtual instruction just simply doesn't replace what we do in a classroom, and the state of Missouri doesn't allow children who miss school, even if it's chronic absences, to log in virtually. So it's not an option, and it cannot replace what they do in a classroom. It simply cannot. I mean, we are going out, I'm not gonna say beating, we're knocking nicely on doors. We are making some people uncomfortable. We're doing some residency checks. Do you really live here? Not because we don't want you at our school, but we want you at our school, and you're not here consistently, and it's hurting us and it's hurting your students. So the real answer, no. And that's why attendance is such a big deal, because you cannot replace what we do here during the 7 hours that we're here. I'd like to say that if they just take home a homework packet, they would be caught up, but that would diminish the role that these people play. You cannot make up for what happens in a school building when you're not here.
And still no truancy being submitted, or
We're
what?
doing some of that. It's just a very, very last option. If I don't have to put parents into it's the system. I don't want to do that. I want to partner with families. And we've had amazing luck with families who have really improved attendance and made an effort. So it's a balance of trying to understand that circumstances happen, because life does happen to people, and I want to understand that, but also knowing that the outcome is dire if your child is not here at school. So it's a balance between that. We are doing some truancy in those cases that we have to, but it really is a last resort for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions? No. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Thank you, Ms. White.
They got to go home. I need them to be on time because the superintendent's talking tomorrow at 8 o'clock, so I need them to go home.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, next up, under items for information, is the fall and winter 2024 climate and culture results. Making this presentation is Mr. Ishmael Sistrunk, Executive Director of Communications, and this is in conjunction with Policy KB, Public Information Programs, and KC Community Engagement. Mr. Sistrunk?
Good evening again. And as Dr. Patton mentioned, I'm here to just present the information on the fall/winter climate and culture survey. That's something we've been doing for a couple of years. The methodology that we used for this one was similar to before, but we added some additional things. Of course, we email all the time, newsletters. We added text messages as we have that capability with our new website and app notifications. We had digital newsletters. We had mailed newsletters that went out over winter break that should have gone to every home within the Riverview Garden School District. Our website, social media, we took flyers to all the city halls in the district. We have some incentives, and so I'll be getting with Dr. Patton soon so we can get those Amazon gift cards that we promised to adults only. Kids couldn't win due to the law. School events, electronic board, and more. I do want to give a special shout out to Ms. Harris at Highland and Ms. Clark at Central Middle School. This year, in our respondents, we had a lot more respondents and students, and those two schools were really a big key in that. So let's see if I can get to the next slide. No.
Well, we got to give them a round of applause.
Yeah, give them a round of applause. Yep, and this is thrown off a little bit in translation. But our spring 2024 survey results, we had 145 staff respondents, 51 parent and community respondents, and going back to the fall of 2023, because last year we got the survey out after school ended, we had 176 respondents on the student survey in 2023. This year we had 176 staff respondents. I thought we were going to get to 200, but fell a little bit short. We had 90 respondents from the parent and community, and we had 496 student respondents. And so again, Central Middle School was key to that. Highland was also key to that, so I definitely want to salute those building leaders. Overall climate, and first I'll say, so you'll see on some of these slides, in parentheses, you'll see growth from either the spring survey or in the case of the students from the fall of 2023 survey. The places where you don't see parentheses, it's not because the number's bad and we were scared to show it. It's because we either didn't ask that question on that survey or we didn't have a one-to-one number because we changed some of the questions on the surveys. But overall climate, staff, we got 75% favorable, so either 75 in good or excellent rated the climate. With parents, we were at 76%. For staff, that was a 5% increase. For parents, that was a 31% increase from the last survey. Again, the students, we went back to fall of 2023. We got 63% favorable for the older students. That was grades 6 through 12. That was an 18% increase. And with the younger students, we got 68% favorable. That was a 2% increase from the last one. Overall experience, which is going to be similar, staff 76% favorable, that was a 6% increase. Parents 75 again, that was a 30% increase from our last survey. Older students were at 62, that was a 17% increase, and younger students, 68, again, a 2% increase from fall of 2023. School safety. This is something that's very important to the district, to the parents, to our staff. Now, the staff, we didn't ask that question for some reason. I'll make sure we put that back on the survey next year, but we didn't ask it last spring. But when we asked it in the fall-winter survey, we got 82% of staff felt safe in our district. Parents, 76% felt safe or felt their students were safe. That was a 26% increase from the spring. Older students, 73% favorable. That was a 26% increase. And younger students, 84% favorable. That was an 8% increase from fall of 2023. Support. Staff, again, we didn't really ask this question in the last one, but 75% favorable in support for staff, 77% favorable from parents, that's a 14% increase, 68% favorable from older students, 85% favorable from younger students. Communication. Our staff rated 71% favorable. That was an 11% increase from our last survey. Parents rated 74% favorable. That was a 14% increase since last spring. Older students were at 63% favorable, so we have some work to do with the older students, and younger students were 81% favorable. Now this slide, so we asked in all of the surveys, give us one word, except maybe for the youngest students, but we said, give us one word to describe the RGSD experience. And so our survey platform generates these word art. The bigger the word is the more that it was placed by one of the respondents. So you see on the staff, challenging is pretty large, interesting, rewarding. You see some negative. I see a horrible up there. I see inconsistent. So, well, I'm just showing that to show that we didn't filter out any negative comments. People shared what they thought. But when you look at the larger ones, you see good, great, good on this other one, cool. So we have a lot of positive comments that are in there. But you can see the negative ones, and board, you do have access to the full survey results for all, so you can look at those and see. The biggest strength, this is similar. We see communication, we see teachers, we see staff, we see together, students, so those are some of the words that they use to describe the biggest strength of the district. Main challenges that were identified, really the same across the avenues. Participation and engagement. So parent participation, again, we only had 90 parent and community responses. We want to get more. We continue to struggle. We continue to outreach for the parents. We continue to try to get them to meetings. We're going to Facebook Live with our next demographic study meeting, and just continuing to try ways to engage our parents. And we're going to start doing more student performances, and students have them doing activities at different meetings and things like that to try to get more parents out. Older student engagement, only 40% of older students felt engaged with the school community, and 48 said that they participate in activities or events. And staff engagement, we do get pretty good staff engagement, but 50% of people said that they feel engaged with the school community, and 58 said that they participate in events and activities. So we want to increase those numbers, but are there any questions?
Yes.
I noticed that there's a mention of tutoring several times in the comments. Have we put anything in the newsletters that reference the tutoring services that we have available to the parents, or is that something that we could, I don't know, how they can access, if it's an app or?
Yes, so we have put information about tutoring out. It is something that we should continuously do and send that to parents and students. I know this year we changed our tutoring platform that we use, and so I believe early in the school year that caused a little bit of confusion, and so that's something we can definitely continue to send out and just focus and make sure they have that information.
And the only other thing that I saw was like timely communication. It mentioned that a lot, like they didn't think a week in advance was long enough for some of them, and that was repeatedly. So I don't know if they're referring to building level communication or the district level when they say that it's very short notice, and it was several times.
Okay. I appreciate that. We'll go through all of those individual comments and make sure that we are working to have develop plans to address those. And Ms. Nave said that the principals also put the tutoring information in their school newsletters as well.
Okay. And I think this is a question for you. Given the recommendation, or given the proposal of a potential charter school, do you think that it will be something we could consider as far as for the elementary level or retention survey, like how satisfied they are in a way that they would remain, or what their interest would be?
That could be something that we can do, Dr. May, just to see. My intention, I will be honest with you, my intention for our staff is that we want our children to stay with us, and we are going to make this the district of choice. So that is our full intention. Thank you. Yes. I do want, Ishmael, can you talk about the timely communication piece? Because I want the board to know how often you put out the 5 things, and then the district's newsletter. So if you'll speak to that.
Yeah, so generally, we try to send out 5 things every week. Now, we haven't done that coming back off of the break because we did send that quarterly newsletter that we mailed to the homes. We're finishing up the monthly newsletter, the Inside View, which goes out digitally. So we always send out a monthly newsletter, and then we try to send out a weekly newsletters on those weeks that we don't send the monthly newsletter out. Now, we also continuously update our website with different news and different events, and even if it's just a photo of something that has happened, just so that we're constantly putting information out to the public about what's going on in our schools. And so I want to commend our building leaders, our teachers, because they're constantly, if we're not able to get to the schools, they'll send us pictures so that we can push those out on the website and on social media. But we send things out, especially now that we have the text messaging capabilities. We text message the parents, we have the app, we send out app notifications, and so we're really trying to over-communicate. And sometimes what we've learned is that even when people say, well, I didn't know about this, I didn't get that, we say, well, go check your email, and they go and we say, well, check your spam folder or check this, and they say, oh yeah, I got it, but I missed it. And so we're sending things out, but we continue to try to do things in a different way to meet our parents where they're at, because not everybody checks email, so we have to go on social media. We send things on Nextdoor. But we are continuously sort of monitoring that and figuring out how we can do it better.
Right. And then in terms of employee communication, we have the intranet now, and they sign on every morning. When they sign on, that pops up, that has all the information that's happening in our district. It has links to different departments. It has the policies. So that pops up the first thing when they sign on. So I think we have done, if I look at where we were when I first came to the district in 2020, 2021, and where we are today, we've done a tremendous job of the communication piece. What I'd like to see improve is our parent involvement. We really want them involved, and we are doing everything we can. So I see that they are often on Facebook, so we're going to Facebook. I'm going to follow them wherever they are. So we're going to improve on that. But we will definitely, I think in terms of communication throughout the district, we really have done a great job of that. They just have to read it.
Do they do, you do robocalls too?
Oh, we do, yes, we do robocalls, text messages. We do all of that, and I just don't, sometimes we'll have, I think one of the family engagement events had over 200 participants earlier this year. And we will try to continue to build an incentive. So I think our families seem to respond when there's an incentive. So We've got Amazon gift cards now. So we're doing our best, and we will continue to move forward to make this the district of choice. That's all of you all are going to hear from me, is that this will be the district of choice.
And I'm going to give a shameless plug to the Ramley Matters podcast. If you haven't listened to the podcast, we just hit over 10,000 downloads for the lifetime of the podcast.
Yes.
And so we are getting community members to listen to that as well. And really, we just interview people to learn who's in the district, who's working, who's volunteering, students, teachers, administrators, and community members. We have some alumni who have agreed to be on there as well.
Good,
Yes,
congratulations.
yes, yes.
Yes.
And speaking of, well, first of all, that got a golf clap. I need that to get a real clap. Can we give that a real clap? They got a little palm of your hand golf clap. I did an interview with the Alumni Association on Facebook Live last week to reach our parents that way. We streamed it on our Facebook page, and that's been shared. Lots of positive comments on that. So we are doing everything we can, Dr. May and board members, to reach our families where they are, whether they respond better with text messages or robocalls or emails. We've done everything but send a carrier pigeon, and I don't believe they do that anymore. So thank you, Mr. Sistrunk. There's that golf clap again. The golf clap, y'all killing me with the golf clap. All right, moving on to items for discussion. The first item for discussion is our Prop S transportation lot improvement. Making this presentation is Mr. Carl Scheid. He is our Executive Director of Facilities and Food Service. Mr. Rob, nope, I'm not even going to try that last name, Mr. Rob, we're going with that, and Larry Ford, Weatherproofing Technologies Incorporated, and this is in conjunction with policy DJF, purchasing. Mr. Scheid.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues and community. Tonight I come before the board with an item of discussion, which is transportation parking lot improvements. I know this is not a very exciting project, but it is a necessity. Our transportation lot, while it may not get much public attention, is kind of the lifeblood of the functionality of our buses, which helps make school possible. And that has been long neglected. We're in excess of 20 years for sure. I haven't even found the historical data when the last time we've actually addressed some of the concerns of the transportation lot. So it needs a comprehensive overhaul. The pavement throughout the lot, both on the front lot and the back lot, whatever doesn't have potholes has a lot of cracking and spider webbing of the pavement. There's dips and low spots, and just our recent weather that we had, our little winter storm that caused us so much chaos in the greater St. Louis area, has actually caused more damage, because obviously when we have the precipitation, the moisture gets in there and it freezes, then that causes more cracking to expand and pop. Those potholes, unfortunately, got a little bit larger and deeper as we tried to plow the snow as well, so that we can clear the area for our buses. So this is, while it's not an exciting project, it is a necessity that we need to address. In this scenario, we're using the Omnia Purchasing Cooperative, and we'd be partnering with Weatherproofing Technologies on this project. The projected cost for this is $630,458.17. However, based on experience, you need, in paving projects, you need to have some contingency there, because what we don't know is what's going on underneath. A lot of times with paving projects, you'll go through the process of milling the existing pavement, and then you'll find some surprises underneath. Surprises such as maybe whoever did the job last time didn't actually, or even originally, didn't put down the appropriate base materials, and then you end up having to haul out a lot of bad fill and put in appropriate fill, so that you can set things right for the future, so that we have a nice, stable parking lot going into the future. I hope that we don't have to touch this money, but at the same time, I feel it is necessary just to have it in place If we don't have to touch it and we don't have to spend it, that will go back into the Prop S funds to be utilized in other ways. So again, it's just a contingency, and even with using the contingency money, we would still be below our projected budget on this one. So it's still coming in at a better price point than what we were originally anticipating. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and invite Rob up. He's going to talk about the project a little bit more. Rob?
Thank you to the board members, staff, community. Appreciate you having me here. Happy to answer any questions. There are a couple other small elements to this project, and as Carl mentioned, it's overdue. There are some fairly large potholes, and as he mentioned, that was before the storm, big enough to damage some of the equipment. In this project, one of the ideas was to expand the rear of the lot, currently is fenced, and to expand the fencing to the front of the lot as well to be able to secure it, perhaps at nighttime, and also provide some security to staff members who may park there, or the flexibility to move buses to the front should the district ever change or add more equipment to it. You could utilize more of the lot that's there. So there is a 7-foot tall fence that's listed in the proposal, matching the fence that's in the back with the barbed wire around it to secure the buses and equipment. The lots would be taken down to subgrade. As he mentioned, the contingency by all of the experts that we consulted in our wheelhouse don't expect to need very much of that, but you can never tell if there's a washout area where some of the base rock has been left, other than it occasionally causes a sinkhole, which you do not have. There's no visible sinkholes now. So with that, there's a fence and gate part of this project. The asphalt will be taken down to base and then rebuilt back up with 5 inches. That is slightly more durable than the 4 inches that is used often with vehicles, smaller vehicles, but that's to provide a project that's longer term, so this doesn't need to be done again for a long, long time. So with that, that's really the basics to the project. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Madam Chair? Yes. The contingency plan, how much contingency are we looking at?
I actually placed 94,000 in contingency, so
Okay.
that
Okay.
is substantial. Yeah.
Percentage-wise, what was
It
that?
was 15.
Oh, that's, okay. That's good.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
It has been, at this point, it's approximately 6 in the back. The reason that it is 6 is because often when asphalt gets degraded, one of the procedures you can do is overlay with 2 inches more. That's actually been done here a couple of times. Unfortunately, when the base isn't good enough to take the topping that you put on it, it degrades faster than it would have otherwise, which is a part of what we're experiencing in the rear part of the lot. All of it. All of it throughout the, I think it's 8,800 square yards. There's 5. There'll be a base of 3 and then 2 in 2 different layers that will go there, creating one monolithic.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Scheid, you can stay right there because you are up next as well with the minority participation goals. And this is in reference, this is in conjunction with policy DJF purchasing.
All right. Good evening once again. There we go. Thank you. So this next item for discussion is to set some minority participation goals for the district as it relates to our projects. There's currently not any kind of goals on record that are in place, so that's why I'm bringing this item forward. So obviously, it's important that we have diverse business partners that are participating in these projects, and definitely to also have a diverse workforce as well. So what is being proposed this evening is that our minority business enterprise, so that would be the owners of a company, that would be setting a goal of 25%. So that means the owners of the company would classify in the described classifications as a minority business enterprise. That'd be our goal for 25% there. Next one is for our women business enterprises. So again, businesses owned majority by a female, that would be set at 5%. And then as it relates to our workforce participation, we would be setting a goal of 15%. So workforce is your boots on your ground, that's the people that are actually doing the work. So that's not the ownership, that's the individuals that are on site in whatever capacity, doing the work that needs to be done. So again, these are the proposed goals. Be happy to open up for any discussion or questions you may have.
Might be 10% or what have you. What I noticed is the majority of the minority participation would not be necessarily African Americans. It would be other nationalities. So when he's talking 25%, he is talking more African Americans. Am I right?
Again, these categories do include other people of other backgrounds as well.
I know it includes other people.
Right.
But I don't want to, like with your minority participation, I don't want to see like if you say 20% and then there's 18% Mexicans and 2% African Americans. You know what I'm saying? I want them to strive to try to get half and half and what have you.
Okay. I mean, and the whole purpose of this discussion is to hear your voice and hear what the board would like to see. This can be, this is just, again, this is a proposed percentage. If we want to look at this in a different way, we can, obviously do that. We need to hear need to hear the whole voice of the board on this issue if there's a desire to do something different than what is being proposed. So that's why we're here. That's why we're discussing. So please share your thoughts on these goals and what you would like to see. And then we can obviously recalibrate and adjust if there's a need to do so.
Mr. Shai, to be clear, these are just the minimum, correct? This is not, so when you say 25%
Correct.
minority, this is just the minimum. We could actually have more than 25%. I just want to make that known that this is just the minimum and that we can have a higher percentage.
Absolutely.
My question is, do you have a list? Do you have a list of companies that might be like minority-owned, minority-working companies that you can do backgrounds on to determine how to best fill those slots that you are projecting?
Yeah. So a lot of the contractors that are doing the type of work that we do around schools ultimately have already identified companies, because this is not unusual. There is a desire to have minority participation, in all public entities and schools. So this is not uncommon. So yes, some of the even if it's a larger company, they're going to be partnered with a smaller company that in order to diversify the ownership and the workforce. So there is each contractor kind of has their go-to contractors that can help them meet and exceed these goals. So yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is there a category other than the term minority that would better target African American businesses?
I haven't done extensive research, so
Okay.
again, please don't hold me to it. This is kind of in line with what most districts and most other governmental entities are doing. I haven't explicitly seen anything out there that specifically targets African Americans, because you got to walk a fine line here. There's between trying to increase participation and you don't want to be discriminatory at the same time. So it's a bit of a balancing act, to over specify on one group of minorities versus another, because then you're it could be perceived in a negative way. So
Okay.
I haven't seen that, but if perhaps if somebody else has, we can look at that and study that as well. But I haven't seen goals that have broken down to that level.
Okay. That was my question. Thank you. We can't hear you.
Be careful with that word minority, because with that word, they also talking about women, right?
Well, you have
With that group, minority. So they can bring their sisters in, and that could be with the minority group of what we, African Americans, but but the sisters, the women is part of the minority group. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, overall, within the construction industry, women are a minority in two areas. One, in the ownership realm, which is what WBE, women-owned businesses, classifies as. But then within the workforce, yes, women are also a minority in the actual workers that are doing the work. So you are correct.
And I just want to make sure that these said companies have minorities there. I mean, times are hard, and I'm just being proactive. I just want to make sure that they have minorities in there working as well.
Okay. And again, that's why we're bringing this item forward is to set goals and set some expectations going forward.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scheid.
Thank you.
The next item for discussion are policy recommendations. Making this presentation is Ms. Jennifer Williams, our Human Resource Manager, and this is in conjunction with about 5 or 6 different policies. Ms. Williams?
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, community, and colleagues. Tonight I will be presenting 5 policies. The first policy is BBB-2, School Board Ballot Issues. The policy revisions are being made to address recent changes referenced in new laws. Changes include additional language under transportation of students living less than 1 mile from the school, new language regarding the formal legal process required if the board seeks to change the district's name, new language allowing the school board to create subdivisions for the purpose of electing board members, and measures the board must take before establishing a 4-day school week. It is recommended that the district accepts the revisions as written by the MSBA. The next policy is policy BDC, closed meetings, records, and votes. Changes are being made to reflect the amendments made to the Sunshine Law under House Bill 2111, 2023. MSBA has added language to address reports of allegations of improper governmental activities made to the state auditor. Also, language was added related to foster home placement of children in foster care provided to the district by the Children's Division. It is recommended that the district accept the revisions as written by MSBA as well. The next policy is policy JED, student absences and excuses. MSBA has updated its attendance policy to align with legislative changes that revise the legal standard for reporting educational neglect. There were only changes in the verbiage from reasonable suspicion to reasonable cause to suspect. And one of those causes could be a child is frequently absent from school. It is recommended that the board accepts the policy recommendations from MSBA as written. The next policy is policy JHDF, suicide awareness and prevention. Senate Bill 727, 2024 requires schools to include certain crisis contact information on our student IDs, such as the local police department non-emergency number. It also permits us, the ability to include the crisis text line, which is 741-741. Our current IDs have been changed to accommodate this request at the 9th through 12th grade level, and also scholars that have required a reprint of their ID. It is the goal that the district will have all badges updated to be in compliance by July 1 of this school year, of 2025. It is recommended that the district accept the changes made by MSBA as written. And the last policy is policy IGBE-1, students in foster care. Students in foster care are entitled to remain in their school of origin unless it is deemed not in their best interest. The policy amendments are to include the 10-day deadline for determining the best interest of a child for the purpose of the school district placement. It is recommended that the board accept the proposed changes made by the MSBA as written as well. Are there any questions?
I had a question. Do you know much about how they're speaking to the subdivisions? Like, how does that work? What did they say about the subdivisions? Do you know much about it? I was trying to look up the statute to see.
I don't, but I can look into it and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
So I can find more information on the subdivisions. Are there any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Our next item up for discussion is, let's go here. Our Power School Spark Renewal. Making this presentation is Mr. Travis Ford, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Mr. Ford.
Good afternoon, school board members, Dr. Patton, colleagues and community. Today I have before you the Power School Spark Hire Renewal. Spark Hire is an application, it's a video application interviewing tool that we use through our Power School suite. We're currently using this to do interviews on our application platform. We use it for multiple positions. It gives us an opportunity to do a pre-screener interview that can be viewed by video before we contact those applicants and then bring them in for an interview. This subscription is up for renewal. It is budgeted in the HR budget not to exceed $8,843.35. Are there any questions? Well, it is recommended that the school board approve the renewal of the subscription as presented. Are there any questions?
I have a question. If you were not using this program, could you substitute this program, say, for a Zoom meeting with the applicant?
We could substitute the program for a Zoom meeting, but it wouldn't be as effective as using this program. So when we use this program, the applicant can submit that interview at their own timing, and then our hiring managers get a chance when they want to go in. They can look at the interviews that have already been loaded, and from there they can start picking them as opposed to having to schedule those interviews, set that time aside. So
I'm familiar with that. Thank you for reminding me.
I have another question.
Yes.
Are the questions that are asked, are they generic, or do you all put the prompts in?
So we put the prompts in.
Oh, okay.
And we build the prompts in. We make adjustments as needed, and we put them in for each category.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Ford, are you using it for all positions or mostly
So we're not using it
certified?
for all positions, but we're using it for our teaching positions, we're using it for our custodial positions, we're using it for most of the positions. We're still building it out for every position.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford, but don't move. You have the next two items, MOU with Moreland University and MOU with Grand Canyon University.
Good evening again. This first MOU is with Moreland University. Riverview Gardens School District is committed to developing strategic partnerships that produce a recruitment pipeline for certificated and non-certificated staff members. This is in line with our CSIP goal under workforce and staffing. Moreland University offers a student teaching placement within our district for a certification program. They have a DESE-approved teacher education pathway where members who hold a bachelor's degree can receive or can work to complete a teaching degree or complete all of their education courses within 9 months. The certification program also comes to Riverview Gardens staff members at a discounted tuition of $6,700. This partnership will allow us to also serve as that clinical site. So our staff members who enroll in Grand Canyon University for their teacher prep program, they'll be able to do their student teaching within our district. We will partner with them if you all approve the MOU to allow their staff to come in and supervise them and monitor them and check on them as they complete their coursework. This is at no cost to the district, and it is recommended that the school board approve the MOU as presented. Are there any questions? The second MOU is with Grand Canyon University. This MOU is a little bit different. Grand Canyon University does have a teacher prep program, but they also have other programs for staff members who hold bachelor's degrees, for staff members who hold associate degrees, up to 60 credit hours for staff members who are starting. And with these different degree programs, they have some incentives or some discounts on their tuition that they want to offer. Grand Canyon University is based out of Arizona. They also have a large nursing program, and they've started a campus here in St. Louis to build out their nursing program. They have a DESE-approved teacher education program. This partnership will provide our students at the high school, our seniors, a $2,225 scholarship for any of our students who want to enroll in Grand Canyon University. Also, there will be a 10% discount for any staff members or board members who are interested in taking classes. There's a 15% discount for any paraprofessionals or staff members with an associate's degree who want to get a teacher certification. And then there are other discounts for alumni's parents, for current students and their parents. This partnership is at no cost to the district, and it will create a recruitment pipeline for our staff to continue their education. So it is recommended that the school board approve this MOU as presented. Are there any questions?
I just have two recommendations. On the signature page, if both schools can remove special administrative board.
Yes, ma'am. So it is right now under pending legal review.
Okay.
And once White Coleman looks at that, they'll make those changes, and then we'll submit it back over.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Well, there are no questions, but Mr. Ford, I do want to kind of say thank you because you've done a great job trying to bring in MOUs that will help our instructional assistants, our teachers. So thank you for doing that. You've done a great job bringing them opportunity. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Since item G was pulled from the agenda, Dr. Coleman, this concludes the items for discussion.
Thank you. At this time, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I so move.
It's been moved by Ms. Morrow and seconded by Ms. Williams. And,
Oh, okay.
And
Couldn't
Dr.
hear.
May.
Okay.
They're ready to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Of course not. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for your time. And that's all of ours right now. Have a good day. Good evening. Good.